One of my favorite rivalries going back to the Big 8 days, the Bedlam rivalry, Oklahoma at Oklahoma State in Stillwater this week. I'm Scott Spreitzer. He's Dave Cokin. He's Matt Holt from CGT Sportsbooks in Las Vegas. Matt, you guys opened Oklahoma State 3.5 over at CGT, and about 10 minutes later, it was down to 3, and they've remained a field goal favorite.
Yeah, and I think the big brother syndrome here has kicked in a little bit in this game, especially with the recent history. Sooners 5-1 against the spread last 6 meetings, 9-3 against the spread. 5-1 against the spread last 6 meetings in Stillwater, 9-3 last 12 against the spread overall. Oklahoma, so big brother kind of dominating this series, especially on the road. And I think Oklahoma State stumbled a little bit here. They didn't look great against Texas, although the stats are better than people think. Sure. And they still have that big home loss by double digits to TCU, kind of lingering over their head. And for whatever reason, the bettors are really gravitating toward Oklahoma here, especially as these talks of the playoff heat up, because people start dissecting schedules when these talks heat up, and everybody always goes back to, well, Oklahoma beat Ohio State on the road, and that really tends to resonate with bettors. We're seeing it here. That line opening on the high side of 3 takes a lot of money to drive it actually below 3. A lot of money on Oklahoma.
Let me ask you a quick question, because we take it for granted, because we get to talk to you and other bookmakers around town. We take it for granted that everybody knows what we know. And tell us, like, home field advantage, how that factors in when you and Jason Simbal are making and setting lines in the game over at CGT, because I'm of the belief that, not home field advantage is not the same for everybody. It depends on who the visiting team is. That has a little something to do with it. So explain how you set a line between Oklahoma State in Stillwater.
So to your point, home field advantage not only is different in college football for every team, but in all sports, period. Even in the NFL, we literally have almost a 0 home field advantage for the LA Chargers, but the Seattle Seahawks with the #1 home field advantage can be about 4 points. So and very different in college as well, whether you're a small school, go to a place like Columbus, Penn State, and it's 4.5 points for a home field advantage.
Not quite as high at UNLV.
No, not quite, but we're getting there. But this one was interesting because you have in-state rival, right?
Sure.
And that's, people always say, how do you determine home field in an in-state rival? And it's still in Stillwater, so there is some home field advantage. But you go back and look at recent history. Has home field meant anything in this series? Recently, no. Yeah. Oklahoma's been able to go in there and get it done in Stillwater. So the power rankings actually do call this line 3.5, right where it opened. That's what the power ratings say. So it opened appropriately across the market, but the bettors are favoring Oklahoma.
Dave, the Sooners have taken 4 of the last 5 meetings, and they've covered 3 of those. They're averaging about 43 points per game in those 5 meetings. We look at Oklahoma State giving up 233 rushing yards per game at home this season. Why would this be any different? How do you believe that they could stop Oklahoma?
I don't know if they can, but I don't know if Oklahoma can stop them either. I mean, this is a really good football game. There's a couple of things that bother me about Oklahoma State. And we saw them last week. I had them last week against West Virginia, and I'm not complaining about the result, obviously. I won the game. But we did see that one critical mistake, and he just makes them too often. Mike Gundy, I mean, they're in complete control. They absolutely slaughtered West Virginia last week. They should have won the game by 30. But second half, it's raining like crazy. It was bad weather. And they've got a 49-yard field goal. And I'm sitting on Twitter, and I'm going, don't kick the field goal. Don't try the field goal. This is a bad idea. You got almost no chance of making it. Just pooch punt the damn ball and make them get that length of the field. Well, of course, they missed the field goal. You get a shorter field for West Virginia. They come down and score
the touchdown.
Then you get a pick 6.
Sure.
Then you get a screwed up punt. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game. Now, they got away with it against West Virginia because the Mountaineers really aren't very good this year. By their standards, it's way below average. And they're just kind of an ordinary squad. You make that kind of a coaching mistake that sets a domino principle in motion against Oklahoma, you're going to lose the football game.
Sure.
Because Oklahoma's way more talented. And I worry about that happening here. On my numbers, it's strictly a no play. I mean, there is an angle that would at least indicate Oklahoma a little bit when you've got a team that's won the stats in all but one or all of their games this late in the season, and they're an underdog. They're pretty good bets. So if you want an angle for support, lean Oklahoma, but not a game I'm going to bet.
I got to lean also on Oklahoma plus the points here. So we're going to let this fall on your shoulders to make it official. What do you like in this particular game?
I have to lean Oklahoma too, and I think the one thing that we haven't really thrown out here is Mason Rudolph's health.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, he's going to play. Yes, he's probable. He's certainly not going to miss this game.
No.
But a less than 100% Mason Rudolph with all the other intangibles we just talked about can only lead me to side with the underdog.
All right, so it's unanimous. It's leans on the Oklahoma Sooners plus the points. Don't forget, you can get a 7-day all access for $99 from your favorite handicapper on WagerTalk.com. Check it out. Stay on the site. 7 days, $99. Handicapper of your choice. We got a lot more to come between our panel, between the other panel coming up, hosted by Marco and the gang. Stick around. We are WagerTalk TV.